All right, let us now join our reporter Timothy Otieno, who just attended the National Council of Churches press conference, joining us from the Jumuiya House in Limuru to just give us an update on the same. Thank you very much, Timothy, for joining us. Kindly let us in on the highlights of what was addressed by the clerics.
Akisa, of course, we are live at the Jumuiya Resort in Limuru, where the religious leaders under the umbrella of the National Council of Churches of Kenya just gave a statement to the press in regards to the direction in which the nation is heading ahead of the 2017 general elections. And of course, the statement very bold, very out there, and they are saying that the country is not heading in the right direction if things do not change. Now, basically, two issues have come out of the press conference, of course, which was read by the Secretary General of the National Council of Churches of Kenya, and that one, that the country is still deeply divided, despite the fact that the ICC cases have since collapsed, and that there were prayer rallies from both the Jubilee and the Quad coalition over the past weekend. They still feel that the country is divided deeply, and that if this is not resolved immediately, then there could be trouble heading to the next general elections. The second point, and what they have brought out during the press statement, is the issue of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, in which they say the allegations leveled against some of the commissioners is tainting the electoral body in bad light, and that this could affect the next general elections. But to expound and to give us more insight into the nitty-gritty of the issues, I am joined right now by the Secretary General of the National Council of Churches of Kenya, Canon Peter Karanja. Thank you so much for joining the program. Maybe you could highlight, you have called for national dialogue to take place between the government and the coalition, the other political coalitions in the country. Why is this so?
Well, NCCK is very concerned about the developments that we are observing in the country. The Executive Committee draws its delegates from across the country, from Mombasa to Kisumu and all the spaces in between. And the observation of the religious leaders is that the country is building up a political momentum like we had in 2007 that resulted in chaos and conflict across the country. And from our analysis, we think something should be done about legitimate concerns that are being expressed by political players and Kenyans in general, so that a resolution can be found around them. Now, you notice that Jubilee will go to a rally, and people are very patriotic in the kind of statements that they make. And the Quad coalition goes to another rally the same day, seeking to carry the attention of Kenyans again in their direction, making very unflattering statements about this country that are hardening positions between their followers and creating heat rather than light in the country. And so the religious leaders have come to the conclusion that it will help this country if dialogue can commence between the top political leaders of this country. And NCCK would like to see the leaders of the major political parties and coalition coming together, discussing amongst themselves what are these concerns in the process of preparation for the next elections that would make them credible, free, fair, and peaceful, and elections that all of them will accept the outcomes of, because they are agreeable about the process. And we have said that in 2007, both camps were unwilling to talk. We went into an election that was highly divisive, leading to chaos in the country, the destruction of life and the destruction of property. They only came to talk later through the mediation of Kofi Annan and the participation of others, including religious leaders. And we've said that the president and his team and the leaders of the other political parties in the Quad coalition and other significant politicians ought to find a mechanism of coming together and distilling those issues that need to be addressed and finding a consensus way going forward regarding processes so that all Kenyans can have peace about the outcomes.
Okay, thank you so much, Canon Peter Karanja. That is Canon Peter Karanja, the Secretary General of the National Council of Churches of Kenya, who also want Parliament to put in place necessary legal structures to see if the commissioners, the current commissioners at the IEBC, can be restructured and an overhaul of the system before we head on to the next general elections.